Welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Dee Dee and this is Randy, and we're at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center on Rosemont Avenue, bringing you some adoptable pets today. And our first guest is Chase. And Chase was found August 14th around Dixon Road in Frederick County. And we put him in a foster home so that he could be raised up and get big enough to be adopted. And now he is ready. A lot of times we don't have kittens on the show because they are easy to adopt. When people come in looking for kittens, they choose among the ones that are here, and then those are adopted, and then the foster homes bring us new ones. We have over 50 foster homes that take care of these kittens for us. They don't charge us anything. They do this out of the goodness of their heart and help us to save over 1,000 kittens between April and October. But this time of year, we're getting close to October, we fill up. We fill up with kittens as much as with older cats, and so we like to remind everybody that the cute kittens are here even though you don't see them on the TV show. We show you 10 or so animals every week, and since we have right now over 200 animals in our care, there's no way that they all get to be on TV or in the newspaper or on Facebook. So just a reminder that the small kittens are often here in the shelter every week. All you have to do is come in and look. And Chase is a pretty typical kitten. He's about 12 weeks old. He weighs about 3.5 pounds. And he's ready to go to his new home, as cute as a button. But because we have about 20 kittens on the floor, they don't all get picked in a short amount of time. And then their cages stay full. And then the kittens in foster care have to wait. So if you've been thinking about getting a kitten, fall is the time. So come on in and see the kittens that we have, talk to us about what you want, and we will help you out. We have 3 cats in the shelter right now named Smokey, and this is one of them. Smokey is a medium-haired all-black cat, as you can plainly see, and he comes with a bookend mate, Bandit, who looks very much like him. They are 2 of the largest cats we have in the shelter, so if you like the Maine Coon type of cat, then you'll find them very beautiful. And they come together as a pair. They love to be near each other. They are very attached to each other, probably brothers. They came in together, and they're going to make somebody a lovely pair of pets. One of the things that's hard to tell on this video is that they are very, very affectionate lap cats. So they like to be snuggled, they like to be pet, they like to be brushed, they like people. So I think they're going to make somebody very happy. And one reason for bringing them to you today is you'll be seeing this later in the week, but today is actually Friday the 13th. And since they are black cats, it's important to know that adopting a black cat that was on TV on Friday the 13th cancels out bad luck. That is a fact. So if you are interested in, yes, adopting some beautiful cats, they're here waiting. And also they've been here for a while. When they first came to us together, they were on the adoption floor. They were a big hit. Everyone noticed how beautiful and huge they are. But they caught a cold, which is not uncommon for cats that come here and are then exposed to a lot of germs from other cats that they've never been exposed to because they were indoor cats. So they had to have medicine for a couple of days and be under a vet's care, and now they're back. So we, oftentimes people will say that the animal shelter has no trouble saving healthy social animals, and that's true. We have more trouble saving sick animals, but we go the extra mile whenever we can. And since Smokey and Bandit were delightful cats, deserving of a new life as all of them are, they were able to stay here while they got medicated, and then they're back on the floor. And these guys really are lovely, lovely lap cats. I hope they get a lap of their own soon.
Okay. He's just making himself
This is Clover, and Clover is a gray tabby who's a little shy. So featuring him on TV so that you can see a little bit about him helps him, because when you come into the shelter, of course, just like Smokey and Bandit, he's quietly in his cage, not asking for anything, not sticking his feet out, trying to be noticed, so people can pass him by. He has beautiful golden eyes, which his little kitty bed helps you to see. And he is, the kennel techs that take care of him every day say that he is a little shy. He prefers to stay in his bed, in his box, and when people come by and pet him, he's fine with that, but he doesn't necessarily want to go out and about. So Clover is going to make somebody a nice, low-key kitty, and we have all kinds of temperaments here, and that's probably the most important thing you can think about when you're getting a cat. Most people choose a cat based on how pretty they are. Nothing wrong with noticing a beautiful cat, but we color code the cats here on their name tags blue, orange, and green so that you can tell a little bit about who they are. The blue cats want to be on your lap. They are willing to approach strangers. They are confident. They have experience with people, usually with other pets too, maybe even kids. You can read all about their profile to see. But the orange cats that are in the middle, like Clover, have the best of both worlds. They don't need to be on you. They don't have to be getting attention all of the time. But they are also not overactive and curious in a way that means you have a little extra work to supervise them. A lot of our kittens are color-coded green. They may not be green all of their lives, but certainly while they're little, they are into stuff and don't have experience. So as you can see, Clover has settled in quite nicely to Randy's attention, and I think that he's worth a second look. So I wanted to feature him here so that people can see a little more about him than they would see when he's just quietly waiting in his cage for his new family to come.
He's a lucky Clover.
Yeah. He would also cancel out the Friday the 13th thing because Clover, four-leaf, is his middle name. This is Brahms, and Brahms is a red tabby, and we think he is between 1 and 1.5 years old, and he was found as a stray around Willowdale. So about half of the cats that come into the shelter are lost animals, and half of the cats are from people who can't keep them for one reason or another. But this kitty was already neutered, so we know that he was cared for by someone at some time. And we've checked our lost reports, and his pictures on Pet Finder. He appeared on our stray page, but we were not able to find his family. So he needs a new one. And this is unfortunately a very common occurrence for cats, much less so for dogs, that cats that are owned by someone end up separated from them for whatever reason, end up here, and no one comes looking for them. So part of that reason can be that people don't realize that their lost pets can end up here, which is a shame since we're the only shelter. We've been here over 25 years, and you would think most people would know what to do when they have a lost pet, but they don't know. Someone could be new to the area. They could even be new to pet ownership. So if you know anyone with lost pets or just pets in general, please get the word out that lost pets often come here. So this little guy we've named Brahms. His real name is whatever, we don't know. So if this cat looks like a cat you know, please don't discount the possibility because of where he was found or what his name is. It's absolutely worth coming in to see if this could be your cat. And if not, if he'll be your cat in the future, then please come by and meet him and all of our cats and see if we can make a match. This is Cookie, our cow cat, and Cookie has a very plush, beautiful coat. She is a lovely cat, about 7 years old, and she came to us with her cat mate, Bonnie, and Bonnie is all white with blue eyes and extra toes. So an amazing pair. We would, they do not have to go together because they are not so attached to each other that they can't be apart, but they certainly could. If you're looking for two cats, it's nice to know that they will get along, but they do not need each other to be happy. Cookie is, as you can see, affectionate and confident and very, very pretty. One of the things that, yeah, and Randy's saying plush. One of the things you can't see on the video is that it's easy to assume that all cats are cats, and a cat feels like any other cat, and they have the same fur, and they all shed, but it just isn't true. Their coats are as different as individual people's hair, and Sean calls it bunny fur when cats have this very plush, beautiful, soft fur, and she has it. So if you are interested in meeting her, it would be well worth the trip to the shelter. And I understand that lots of people that watch this show have 3 or 4 pets already. They're not in the market for a new pet. They just want to know what animals are in the shelter and how they can help. So one thing that you can do for us is that you can go to petfinder.com, look for Cookie's picture by putting your zip code in, and then our shelter will be one of the local shelters and rescues that comes up, and share her picture either by social network, by email, or just print it out and hang it up at work if you're allowed to do that. You can ask your local grocery store or even your doctor's office if you can hang up an adoptable pet's picture. The reason that is so helpful to us is that the people who watch Pet Pals are up to date on what animals are here, on what the shelter needs, but there are so many people who either have no pets or haven't had pets for a long time. They don't know where the shelter is. They don't know much about adoption. And just that small gesture on your part of putting a picture of an animal in need somewhere new brings a whole new level of people into awareness about the shelter, but also about the individual animals that we have. A lot of times people say, oh my gosh, I had no idea you guys had adult cats. I thought you just had kittens. I thought kitten season was over. And there are people who say, I had no idea that you guys spayed and neutered, microchipped, vaccinated. When you get a cat from the shelter, they're good to go except for the rabies shot that you get at your vet. And if you were to adopt a free kitten off the street, which I am not discounting, please do that because those are kittens that don't come here. But if you do take in a stray cat, then you need to get them spayed, get them vaccinated, get them vet checked. And sometimes you can get some sad news. A very nice gentleman came in the other day with his 2-year-old cat that has leukemia. He adopted a stray, and the stray was always sickly, and they just found out that she has leukemia and her life's going to be short. And they are grateful that they knew her for as long as they did. But they said next time they're going to come to the shelter because we test for leukemia and FIV so that you know that the kitten or cat that you adopt has a little health screening before you take them home. We're going to be back after a short break with some adoptable animals, not all dogs, some special guests. So I hope you join us. And thanks for viewing our cats. Remember to share them, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Are you looking for that perfect spot for your child's next birthday party? Look no farther. Frederick County Parks and Recreation can fulfill all your birthday party needs. Choose from any of our rec center locations. Your party rental includes tables, chairs, paper products, on-site facility supervisor, and much more. Pricing for our parties is $120 for 2 hours in our rec room or $170 for 2 hours in our rec room and gymnasium. For more information and availability, call 301-600-2936 or visit us on the web at www.recreator.com.
Welcome back. I'm back without Randy, and I have not replaced him with Tango and Cash. They certainly can't hold cats on their lap. That would be a bad idea. Tango and Cash are 2 adult female parakeets that were given up to us by a family who no longer wanted to take care of them. They said the way you can tell them apart is one has a blue tail and one has a yellow tail. But they actually have very different markings on their face, so you can tell them apart. We would like to have them adopted together. One thing that birds like usually is other birds. But surprisingly, if you get a parakeet and you bought a second parakeet and you just put them in a tiny cage together, they can really hurt each other. So they like company, but you have to carefully choose their company for them and let them have a chance to meet. So since these guys have spent most of their lives together, then we think it's a good idea for them to remain so. One of the ways that you can tell male and female parakeets from each other is the color of their cere, which is the little band that encompasses their nostrils. Blue ones are boys and brown ones are girls. Of course, baby ones are hard to tell. So the reason that's important to know is because we wouldn't want you to adopt a mated pair of parakeets, because then, of course, they would lay eggs and you would have baby parakeets to deal with. And we get a number of parakeets every year, and we use a wonderful rescue called Phoenix Landing, and they try to help us take all of the birds they can. We're really set up to care for cats and dogs. We also had this week some goats and a potbelly pig, and they're not necessarily that comfortable in the dog kennel runs we have. So we have an outdoor area that we can use for those kinds of animals. But this cage that these guys are in, it may seem big in comparison to the bird size, but it's completely not big enough for them to live out their lives in. Little birds like this stay healthy by being able to fly a lot of vertical distance. Some people choose to allow the birds to fly free in their home and just put them in the cage when they can't supervise them. I can tell you that's pretty dangerous, because parakeets can knock into windows, knock into mirrors, ceiling fans, pots on the stove. There are so many dangers for a parakeet that a much larger cage is the better solution. You can certainly hand tame a parakeet by trimming their wings. They grow back, and getting them used to you. But when you have two together, they can use each other's company to meet their social needs, and they don't need a person to constantly be with them. So if you are interested in adopting some birds, consider contacting Phoenix Landing, but you can also come in and view these. These are the two that we have now. And we also, of course, have the wish list. So you can let us know what kind of bird you want. We'll call you when we get one. Our next guest is China, and China is a pit mix, as you can plainly see. What a love bug. She wants people's attention constantly. She does jump up, so she needs to learn not to do that. But she's really young. She's only 1.5 years old. She's a beautiful fawn color, and she's a lot like a lab at this age, because she's so physically strong, but she's sweet. So when she jumps on you, she is, that's a significant jump. But as you can see, it's not that hard to convince her to mind her manners, and she can get attention by waiting till someone kneels down and pays attention to her rather than jumping up. She does pull on the leash too. And here's the sad story of China. So China came to us, and we adopted her out to somebody who told us there was no reason they would ever bring back a dog, that they were up to the challenge, that they understood that she was a puppy and that she would need help. And they brought her back in just a few days because they wanted to leave her home alone, and they put her in a crate and left. And she broke it, and she chewed some things in the room she was in. So what we would like to help anyone who wants to adopt her is to talk to them about how to introduce a dog to a crate the right way so they don't dislike it in there. And obviously there are a lot of people who choose to raise their dogs without cages, and that's great. And we commend that and think that that's the ideal for a dog. But because people have to sometimes leave the house with an untrained dog, or sometimes drop the dog off at the vet, or in a situation like we've had over the past few days where there's storms, if there's an evacuation, you have to go to a shelter. If your dog is able to stay in a crate, it just means so many more options are open to you. It doesn't mean they have to live that way, and it doesn't mean that you have to cage them. It just means that it's another skill they have. If they are asked to stay in a small space temporarily, they can certainly do it. There is a treat right in the lip of this bed, and she is determined to find it, which I'm sure that she will. So one of the things that should happen for China, we're so close, for China to be everything she can be is for her to learn not to pull on the leash and to stay in a small space if she's asked to without being scared that she's not going to see her family again. We have volunteers that come in a couple times a week and work with her on leash walking and sitting when she's asked to, which she can do. But she does need to have an owner who cares and an owner who can put the work in. She's willing. We just need a person who's willing. This is Toby, and Toby has been in the shelter for a few weeks, which is shocking to me because he is a 9-month-old black lab mixed puppy, and that is what everyone says they would ideally want. Now, he does need some training. He's not bad about jumping on people, and he's not even bad about pulling on the leash. He is inexperienced. He'll sit when you ask him to, as you can plainly see, and he's beautiful. But we also this week had 10 Chihuahuas, Anna, a pit bull lab mixed puppy, and then a whole litter of lab mixed puppies. So I think the people who came to the shelter interested in retriever type puppies were, got matched up, and people who wanted small dogs got matched up. So Toby is in need of a new home, and I think he's going to make somebody really happy. He's everything that a lab should be: friendly and likes to retrieve and likes to play with toys. But of course he's big and floppy and doesn't have manners yet, so people have to be up to the challenge. Yes, there were treats on that rug, he can tell. So if you have been thinking about getting a retriever puppy, which is apparently everybody's favorite dog, then think about coming and meeting him, because he's a good boy, and he really needs to have a family of his own, because living in the kennel, he's adjusted to just fine, but it's not as enriched as the best environment for puppies. They should be meeting new people and seeing umbrellas open and wheelchairs and getting to go in town and all of the fun stuff that dogs that are not in the shelter get to enjoy. And don't get me wrong, we do have volunteers that come and walk them multiple times a day, take them out in our play yard that was donated by a very generous supporter of the shelter, play with toys. So he has all of that, but he just doesn't have a person of his own, a person to show him the world, take him new places, and help him to believe that the world's a great place and there's somebody you can count on to be there for you, which is what every retriever wants and needs, and we're going to find for him. We are back with our next guest, Decker. And Decker is part Anatolian Shepherd, and he is a gorgeous dog, one blue eye, nice black mask, floppy ears, beautiful coat. He was given up to us by a woman who took him from a friend who couldn't keep him, and then her landlord said, you can't have a dog that big. And what's unfortunate about that is a lot of these dogs that are guarding type shepherd dogs are really low energy, friendly, very protective, good dogs. So they can make a really excellent companion even in small spaces, as long as they get to go out and about with their people and get sufficient exercise. But a lot of times people wrongly assume that big dogs can't live in small places. And there are small dogs like Norwich and Norfolk Terriers and Jack Russell Terriers and a lot of spaniels that really need room to run every day. They have to get a lot of exercise to be happy. They have to do a lot of sniffing things and meeting people. They don't like to be left alone. Whereas these guard type of dogs can work independently, don't suffer so much from being left alone, and their guarding work lends them to a lower energy. Now, it doesn't mean that he can't go on a long hike. He absolutely can and would enjoy it. But he's not the hyper type of dog like a retriever or spaniel or terrier that just has to be entertained and active to be happy. So unfortunately, he has lost 2 homes now, and we know a lot about him from the woman who had him, because she had him for an entire year. And we have all that information for you. He's beautiful, and if you have been thinking about getting a big dog, then maybe you should come and meet him, because one of the nice things about adopting a dog that is a little older, this dog's only 2, but a little bit older, is that you're past the stage where Toby is needing to go jogging a couple miles a day and have fun, but you still have a young dog that's willing and ready to learn, able to bond to new people. And this is, you know, his guarding instinct. He heard a door close, so he's all about that, checking out who came in, who left, what does he need to do. So if you are interested in or have had Anatolian Shepherd or guarding type dogs before, then this may be your lucky day, because they don't commonly come to the shelter, and they are amazing, beautiful dogs. And so hopefully we will find the right match for him. And obviously he's mixed, so he doesn't have any of the disadvantages of being a certain type of breed that will need certain type of work. He's a generalist, as they say, a jack of all trades. So if you are interested in meeting him, please come by or share his picture around, or, you know, whatever you can do to help us find him his next person who is going to be his permanent person, we truly hope. This is Debussy. Our medical officer, Lauren, is on a classical composer's kick, she told me. So when animals come in that don't have their own name, and we need to call them something besides, in this dog's case, number 1183, then they need to have a name. So she's naming them after classical composers, and she's named him Debussy. And he is a beautiful border collie. He has some little brindle markings on him, and is very friendly, active dog that was found on Skipwick Road or Drive, and we weren't able to find his owner. So we've had him longer than 5 days, and as you can see, he clearly is a pet dog, loves people, and since we didn't find his owner, we're now looking for a new home for him. And lots of people like the idea of having a border collie. And what we jokingly say here is everybody wants a smart dog until they have one. So for whatever reason that his family hasn't come forward to claim him, which could be no fault of theirs or his, either they have no idea there's a shelter in Frederick and that their dog was lost in Frederick, that can happen, or they don't want him back. So that can be because when people move, they sometimes, their dog gets lost in the move, or they're unable to take them to a new place. Certainly we wish people who couldn't care for their pets would bring them here if they absolutely have to, because we would rather that than have them running loose. But yes, and there is no fee to drop off an animal, but I am not encouraging you to do that, because rehoming your own animals, keeping your animals, calling us for help with training is a better solution, because we can't save all the animals that we get. But a dog like this is easy to find another home for. He is a great dog, and he's going to make someone very happy. So if you think that Debussy would make a good match for you, or someone that you know, if you know someone who's been looking for a border collie, tell them to come and meet him, because he's in great shape and is going to make somebody a great. He just found a treat on the floor that Decker did not want. So he's going to make somebody a great pet, and we're looking for that someone who can, you know, keep up with him, train him, and give him the life that he deserves. He is a beautiful dog, and hopefully he'll tug someone's heartstrings that way. But what's most important for you to do is to choose a dog based on his personality and your personality and the match that comes from that. So thank you for joining us on Pet Pals. I hope that we see you again next time. Remember to share the link at the bottom of your screen on social networking, or in email with friends, or on a web page if you have that. But if you are looking for a pet, think of the shelter first. Come in, meet the animals that we have. We get 15 new ones every day. So if you don't see what you like on this episode, come to the shelter. We have over 200 animals in our care right now. And I am sure, yes, goats and a pig. So please come and see what's in the shelter. You never know. It's always a surprise.